I'm back. I don't know what to talk about. We can talk about movies I've seen, and we can talk about other things I've seen. But I don't know what to really talk about, because admittedly there is not much going on. There's a lot going on in the world of the internet and YouTube, but that is not really something I want to converse about, because it's retarded. It's really retarded. And I'm also very, very hot. I'm like sweating horribly, so that's not fun. But as I try and cool myself off, I figure out some things to talk about. I've bought a movie. That is this one, Psychopaths the movie. Oops. Admittedly, I haven't seen the second season, so when I went into it, I didn't really understand everything that was going on. But as I continued watching, I got the gist of it. I mean, the Sybil system is still a thing, and so is our main heroine. What's her face? I honestly do forget her name. It's I actually don't say her name. Oh wait, Inspector Akane. Yeah, that's her name, Akane. And I also saw this. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Those are the two movies I've seen recently, but I think since Star Wars was the most anticipated one over the past few years, I'll talk about that. So, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I like the movie. It was a Star Wars movie. Like, I like the movie. I like the movie. I should stress that enough. I like this movie. It's okay. It certainly doesn't have the weight that the original trilogy or quadrilogy had, depending on how you look at it. But it still had a story. It worked off the original trilogy, or whatever the fuck you want to call that. It worked off that and made a sort of semi-finisher. But considering how Jar Jar Abrams uses things, I'm not quite sure of how far he's actually going to go with Rogue One coming out in the next couple of years. Especially with all the rumors of reshoots, things like that. It may be good, but I'm not quite sure. I'm no movie connoisseur. I just watch movies and I just enjoy them. I don't really have a critical thought on many of them unless they're really stupid, and I could easily pick them apart. Now, I was thoroughly enjoying myself watching this. I did not really have any moments where I stopped and went, okay, that was fucking retarded. I didn't have any of those. I had moments where it was just like, oh, that was really cool. Or, oh, okay. Or you had moments of realizations, things like that. Which you should have when you watch a movie. At least a good movie. This one is not it's a well-made Star Wars movie. It's a sequel to the end of the Death Star. When the Death Star was destroyed, everyone went their separate ways, especially Luke after what happened with his little Jedi community that ended up completely being massacred by his own students. But beyond that, the story was okay. I really liked the cinematography. I really liked how the shots were. I really loved the characters and all the humor they threw out. That was my favorite part. I love the callbacks, the stuff like that. I love the callbacks when Han first gets on his. Oh, my sister's at home. Sorry. When Han first gets in the Millennium Falcon, that's a genuinely cool scene. And you get to see Chewie in them. And it really set the movie that, yes, this is a Star Wars movie, that, yes, there's going to be a whole bunch of conflict, but there wasn't that much conflict. The First Order was nothing. They were literally nothing. They were a threat. They destroyed, 5 planets total. Way more than the Death Star, but the Death Star, the Death Star, this one's called Star Killer Base because it sucks the energy out of stars and uses that as its fucking thing, as its ammo. And can I say, when the Star Killer Base was destroyed, is that really gonna fuck up someone's orbit? Like, they moved the sun like a couple thousand meters away from its original place. And I just want to know, I know that would have a horrible effect on certain planets and the gravitational orbit. This is what happens when you're kind of too smart for things. But yeah, I know it would have a problem with its gravitational orbit, that certain planets would probably be flung off into the solar system. Or maybe it just could have been some random star they found and it just had no real effect on any of the nearby planets. But it was a good story. I like the twists. Kylo Ren, the dude with the crossblade saber, he was okay. He had his moments of stupidity when he would just fucking lash out on the electronics. I get really, really emotionally pissy at things. And there's gonna be spoilers in this. I'm gonna spoil the big one now, but I'm sure if you're on the internet, you know what the fuck happens. Han Solo dies. He gets killed off by his own son, which is pretty fucking, which was tragic, I might add. Like, fuck. But at the same time, as I was watching the movies, I kind of knew that Harrison Ford did not want to be there. You can tell by the way he was. I don't know. It was nice to see him and Chewie, but I don't know. It's a weird movie. I liked it. And then Rogue One's gonna come out, and it may take me a couple months to see that, because I don't know when the fuck this came out. This came out in... That gives me no real answers, but yeah. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed how it ended. I enjoyed all the shenanigans they went through. I enjoyed the main characters. I enjoyed Finn, the fucking rogue stormtrooper, who may become a Jedi. I don't know. I enjoyed fucking... What the fuck was her name? Rey? Yeah, she was a cool character, and her and Finn had some awesome scenes together. I cannot stress that more. BB-8 was a cool robot, and he was the most lovable character out of all of them, next to that awesome fucking X-Wing pilot, Poe. He was an awesome pilot. Poe's scenes are fucking fantastic. And near the end, he fucking pulls off some amazing flying maneuvers. But yeah, that's Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. I can't really throw any hate towards it, other than the ending. The ending really pissed me off. After Rey figures out where Luke Skywalker is, because that's the whole plot of this movie, is to find Luke. After she finds Luke Skywalker, she goes to where he's hiding out, and when she gets there, she finds him, and they're like far apart from each other, and it's a cool scene, but it seems like it was just thrown in at the last minute. I don't like this scene. Basically, Rey comes up, and she pulls out Luke's lightsaber, because she found it earlier in a fucking awesome scene of flashbacks and shit, and really shows what the fuck happened with Luke's Jedi Academy. But yeah, she pulls out the lightsaber and holds it out there like this, like, come grab it. I'm like, just here, and it holds on that scene for like 5 minutes, and then there's an aerial shot, like a helicopter going by, showing them like with her hand out and Luke just fucking standing there, and Luke looks fucking annoyed that someone found him. He was like, oh, how did Rey find me? Who the fuck is this bitch? Like, he looked like that. Rey holds out the lightsaber, and he's standing there, and cut the black. Movie's over. And I don't like that ending. Like, the least they could have done was like have Luke take a step forward, then cut the black. That would have made fucking way more sense. But the ending, I did not like it. It was an okay movie. I enjoyed watching it, and I would watch it again, and I probably can watch it again later. But yeah, The Force Awakens by Jar Jar Abrams gets a 7 out of 10. That's what it gets, a 7 out of 10. Because I liked it. Admittedly, there were a few parts I did not like, but it kept me engaged throughout the whole movie. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. Now for the other movie. Psycho-Pass, the movie. I'm getting hot again. Now, I'm going to be real and say I did not see Psycho-Pass Season 2. I've only seen Psycho-Pass Season 1 with Lakashima and all that, and watched them thwart his plans. So yeah, Psycho-Pass the movie. It takes place, I'm going to say, after Season 2, because there are a lot of characters I do not know in here, and which is good, because it only follows Misakame, or Akame, however the fuck you pronounce her name. It follows Akame, who may become one of my favorite female antagonists, or protagonists, depending on how you want to look at it. But yeah, she may become my new favorite character. And I'll tell you why. Now, the movie takes place, like I said, after Season 2 with Akane. still living in the civil system after finding out that it's basically a mass consciousness of brains pushed together to make, and like I said, there's going to be spoilers in this shit, both for season 1 and for the movie. So you don't want that? Leave. Buttons are around here to leave. I don't care. So yeah, Psycho-Pass movie. I enjoyed it. It starts out with Akame doing her regular steal of working for the civil system. In fact, it starts out with some rogue terrorists who got into Tokyo, which in this world is not an easy task, considering that Tokyo is supposed to be this promised land of heightened security. It's essentially a paradise where no crime happens, which is essentially the whole idea behind the civil system. The civil system is there to prevent crime by using the psychopaths that are in the show, and using that to see who may do certain crimes or who is a latent criminal. Now, if I'm going to get into the civil system, it's going to take me a fucking long time to explain what the hell that whole situation is. But basically, it's a system that can judge you, and based on that judgment can decide whether or not you're a safe individual fit for this world or a latent criminal who may one day murder an entire family. That's a civil system in the most half-assed explanation I can give you. Now the movie follows her main character, Akane, as she figures out that one of her old compatriots, Hound Dog I'm going to call him because I honestly do forget his name, she figures out that he is in a war-torn country he's basically running a resistance, which basically falls in line with his character, because he was one of the how should I put this, wild cards of the group. I mean, in the first episode he was basically going to kill a woman who was doused in gas, and we can only imagine how that went. But yeah, Akane is called into a car park garage where all these resistance fighters / terrorists are. And what happens there is all the terrorists, except for like 2 or 3, are killed by the police. I'm going to call them police because I forget their actual name. Are killed by the police, and in a pretty decent action scene for this movie. But yeah, almost all the terrorists are killed except for one who basically Akane wants to know how they got in, how they were able to bypass the civil system and get their hands on this technology that basically allowed them a front door into this gated community, which is essentially what it is. So they get in, Akane stops them, and one of them is taken captive by the civil system. And what happens next is Akane wants to interrogate him to figure out what he knows, how he got into the city and stuff like that. And as she's off work, basically relaxing because she had a stressful day, off work, her witness is basically brain scooped. That means they take all the memories out of your brain forcefully, and in a brutal manner. So yeah, they scoop out his brains and basically look at his memories, and they see Hound Dog. I honestly do forget this character's name. Weapons called Dominator. What is this? Yeah, it doesn't give me the name of fucking him. And they say his name so much that it's my fault that I don't remember. But yeah, she goes there, she figures out that Hound Dog is there, this asshole. She figures out that he is there and that he is basically running a militia, running a resistance to the South American government because they are trying to introduce their own version of the civil system. So as they can get this country basically under control and stop it being a war-torn second-rate country. Now the way they do this is they give them the most basic version of the civil system, which is a couple of collars, which are the most broken things I've ever seen in this show. A couple collars and a mass police force of people who are who are judged by the civil system and seen as individuals that can run with the civil system. So that entire situation is happening overseas while Akane is trying to figure out how the fuck to get information out of this guy, which was already gotten thanks to the brain scoop. So yeah, overseas is Hound Dog. He's running a resistance to try and stop the South American government from basically adopting the civil system. And the way they do that is he built up a resistance, and the resistance is awesome. But before we get to the resistance, we have to get back to Akane, who is coming back home and realizing that her witness has basically been killed, and his memory is scooped out. So the head leader of the civil system, the warden, I might as well call it, the chief in command, calls up Akane and basically shows her a picture of Hound Dog and is like, he's there. He's causing trouble. He's your dog. You are his handler. Go figure out what's wrong with him. But it's not really that conversation. It's somewhere along the lines of, he's out there. What are you going to do about him? And Akane says she's going to go over to the south. She's going to go over to Sao, whatever the fuck its anagram is, and basically work to get him back. So when she gets there, she meets the generals. And this general is cool because he has a beautiful hair. Just a long, beautiful hair. If I can get a picture, I'll show you. But yeah, she meets a general who is essentially a douchebag. So he gives her permission to basically run around and basically get information for this investigation that she's now on. And throughout when she's there, within like the first 2 days, they go out on patrol and she follows them, which is awkward, but she's essentially she's an enigma in this version of the civil system. She is a full-fledged investigator. She's not a part of the police corps. She was sent by the original civil system over here to sort of figure out what's going on. And the way they do that is they trick her by doing it, and they give her these lies, not really lies, just more or less, they give her these snippets of information that will more or less send her into that direction. So while they're on patrol, they get attacked by the resistance, who is run by Hound Dog. So while that's going on, Akane sees them and she goes after him, which is a cool scene. And when they meet, it's a pretty intense meeting because they both have guns drawn. Considering Akane is not in the civil system, she has an actual revolver, which is pretty badass, I might add. So yeah, she meets Hound Dog and basically decides that in order to take him home, she's gonna have to stay with him and basically join the resistance, which the general basically is like, take her off with the fucking friendly fire mode. If we see her, we kill her. Death to resistance. That's his whole idea. And before he can do that, the mayor of the city comes in and is like, well, you can't do that. I'm the head honcho. Don't. And so General follows that order, and Akane comes back later after realizing that the resistance is just a bunch of people trying to survive and trying to not really get back at the civil system, but trying to find a way to integrate it without it being a violent integration. They understand that the civil system is good. They understand that basically they may need this, but at the same time they don't know how to be a part of it without basically shooting shit up. And I may be wrong about that because when that whole situation was happening, I was just like, oh god, this is good. And yes, basically she goes to the resistance, figures out what they are all about, and when she's there, they get attacked by mercenaries who are out to get Akane and kill her, and get the resistance leader, Hound Dog, and basically kill him. And they have a cover-up plan to make it look like Hound Dog killed Akane, so it's basic political bullshit. So yeah, mercenaries come in, they fuck up the resistance on a huge scale, kill one of Hound Dog's best friends, and that basically pisses them off. So yeah, Akane gets back to the actual safe zone, which is run by the civil system. She gets there, and the general's there, and he's like, you ran away, what the fuck, did you go and join the resistance? She's like, no. So she basically gets put on death's door, and she's in front of a firing squad. So before she's about to die, like I said, the mayor comes in and is like, "Don't kill her. She's a guest. She's part of the actual civil system. If we kill her, we can't really have the system anymore." And that's the basic idea. And throughout this whole story, there's a side plot with a maid. There's a whole side plot with lower. There's a whole side plot with low income people being used as semi-slaves, where they are latent criminals, but they have these collars, which I called the most broken thing earlier. They have these collars that can either inject a sedative, depending on their psychopaths, or inject poison, which is why I call it the most broken thing ever. Just fucking tase them till they're on the ground. But the civil system has always been fucked up, and this being an early part of it, you can kind of figure out why some people are not okay with this, because it is essentially a broken system, which we will get into more near the end. So yeah, she's back at the. I'm going into greater detail in this show than I should have, but I love like psychopaths. Like I said, she might be one of my new favorite characters. So yeah, she goes back there, gets sent to her room because she joined the resistance half-heartedly. So yeah, she gets sent to her room. There's a maid. She tries to convince to semi-join the resistance, semi-help her out, and when she does that, that's basically when shit hits the fan. If you don't want spoilers, leave now. So yeah, that's when shit hits the fan. That's when you realize that basically everyone in the civil system, in this version of the civil system, the early version, is completely and utterly corrupt. In the most fucking stupidest way ever. And in the most boldest way ever, considering how they actually did it. So long-haired general guy kills maid girl, and basically sets forward the evil mastermind plan to have Akane's murder covered up. So yeah, that's going on. And so they go up to the roof to kill everyone, and when they do this, there is a fucking it's basically a ceremony. Almost all the evil guys are there. So some of the regular police force are there. Akane is there. The mercenaries who I mentioned earlier, who are one of my favorite characters, are there. Character sets are there. Because the mercenary group, there's this black guy who is parts cyborg. He has one arm that's a pretty cool cybernetic enhancement that basically buffs up whenever he wants to use it, and a cybernetic leg, which basically does the same thing. There's a few other characters, but they're not really given any screen time. There's a black guy who rides around in a jet, a sniper badass, a chick who uses blades. You know, the trifecta of evil people that try to kill you in anime. So yeah, the mercenary group is there. The police are there. Akane and Hound Dog are there, tied up to a plane. And the whole idea for them getting killed is that Hound Dog took her, and basically they were forced to shoot down the plane because Akane was being kidnapped, and that's their plan to sort of thwart the civil system by saying she died. So yeah, that's happening. They're about to die, but throughout the anime, Akane has been a very awesome investigator, so much so that she was able to hack into the civil system thanks to some of her gadgets brought from Japan, and able to basically send information to the original civil system. So, all that in the background, the civil system now knows that everyone in the city is corrupt, and basically they come and save the day. At the end of the movie, near the end of the movie, they're tied up and they're about to be killed, and then the real civil system comes in, and that's when you know that this civil system in this country is completely and utterly fucked. It's a system that works, but it's a corrupt one, and it doesn't really work well, especially with how easy it is to be corrupted from the inside. So the original civil system comes in. Akane is like, how the hell did you find out? And basically it's like, you helped us. And that's when you get the big bomb that no, not everyone was not overlooked. They were intentionally placed there to basically make it so that Akane can figure this all out, so that the civil system can have an actual reason for coming in here. And if you know how the actual civil system is, you know that this is basically a smaller part of a bigger plan, because the civil system, as I said, is a mass consciousness of brains. So yeah, that happens. The Sybil system comes in. The fucking the dude with the long hair, my favorite character, gets fucking eviscerated by one of the Dominators, and his entire crew is there just like looking at what's left of him, which is basically his legs without a torso, and there's blood everywhere. And they're traumatized. It's one of those situations where they're not really firing because they want to, they're firing because they want to live. It's one of my favorite scenes, but at the end, not everyone dies. A lot of the soldiers get arrested, which is fine. And it's not a complete and utter massacre. But yeah, they get away. There's a few things I don't want to spoil in this show because it's that good of a movie. So yeah, they get away. Some other stuff happens. Hound Dog meets one of his best friends, gets punched out because he wanted to punch him out. That was like his entire goal throughout the movie. He even told Akane to punch him out if he saw him, which he didn't do. But yeah, that all happens. Akane goes to find the mayor of the city, the one who sort of instigated that this happened. So yeah, she goes to the mayor and she finds out that the mayor is a android, a robot. A robot basically run by the Sybil system. And this is where the thick of the anime really comes together, because in the original show, in the original first season, which is the only one I've seen, Akane knows that she is evil. That the Sybil system is not what it seems. She's the only one who, at least I think she's the only one who knows that, the only investigator that knows that the Sybil system is a mass consciousness. And because she knows that, she's able to talk with it. As stupid as that sounds, she talks to the Sybil system, and basically she does a lot of things that the Sybil system knows it's not supposed to allow. She walks through a fucking hologram, which is basically saying, fuck law, I'm not going to walk around this shit, I'm going to walk through it to get a point to you. So she does that, she walks through it, and she pulls out her Dominator, like, you decide, gives him the gun, and just basically fucks off. She goes back home. And then you get a decent ending to the show, which I like, and I approve of. Good job. So yeah, this show gets a 9 out of 10. And I really gotta watch the second season to figure out what the fuck happens. So yeah, that's mainly what I wanted to talk about, the few movies I've seen. I realized I went way into Psycho-Pass more than The Force Awakens, but I know way more about Psycho-Pass than The Force Awakens. So if you want... So that's my review on these two movies. The movies I have seen. If you enjoyed it, then I don't give a fuck. Leave a like, comment. I got a new poster. Legend of Zelda one. There's also a Harley Quinn one way over there. I don't think you get to see it. No. But yeah, I got a Harley Quinn poster there. So yeah. Thanks for watching. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Fuck off. Go drown in a small puddle. Bye.